Welcome friends to this new edition of Sapphire Talks English. In this video we shall discuss India's ambition of having 100 gigawatts of nuclear electricity capacity installed by 2047. Friends, I would like to point out here that India would like to reach this target mainly by implementing small modular reactors. Basically, India has developed its own small modular reactor which we call as BSMR 200. As the name suggests, BSMR 200 is Bharat's small modular reactor with 200 megawatts capacity. Friends, here we can distinguish between a regular nuclear reactor and a modular nuclear reactor. First and foremost, a modular nuclear reactor is much smaller with capacities of 300 megawatts or less, whereas a regular nuclear reactor can have a capacity going right up to a gigawatt, that is 1000 megawatts. So that's the first distinction between a small modular reactor and a regular nuclear reactor. Secondly, modular reactors are designed in such a way that their entire construction is broken up into small modules which are prepared independently and are assembled on site. The advantage of this is that this design is much more easier to replicate and it is much more easier to scale up because the same modules can be repeated as many times as is required, and the reactor can be installed quite expeditiously wherever there is a requirement. Furthermore, since the reactor is small in size, a comparatively lower capital investment is expected. That is, India's BSMR 200 nuclear reactor can be implemented with a capital of less than $500 million. The SMR, that is small modular reactor, has got a lot of passive safety features along with active safety features. The passive safety features are mainly force of gravity as well as force of circulation, which enables the reactor to continue working without any active additions. Thirdly, this type of a nuclear reactor is also more compatible with any electricity grid or a small electricity grid. So as and when the thermal power plants in India will get expired, it is expected that they will be gradually replaced by BSMRs, that is Bharat small modular reactors. It is expected that within the next 6 months the government of India will call for private sector companies to participate in the production and installation of BSMR reactors. The government of India will have a copyright over BSMR reactors, but under a licensing agreement, private companies will be allowed to participate and produce as well as install and run these BSMR reactors in order to prepare a framework for enabling private participation and regulation of BSMR reactors as well as for the regulation of the civilian nuclear energy sector on the whole. The government has passed the Shanti Act in December 2025. The long form of the Shanti Act is Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India Act 2025. This act basically has replaced the Atomic Energy Act of 1962 and the Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act of 2010, and it provides for creation of a regulator to regulate the civil nuclear sector within India. Supporters of the Shanti Act see it as a breakthrough in Indian nuclear civil energy usage, whereas the people who are against the Shanti Act say that the act has taken away the liability from vendors and there is now very limited liability on suppliers and vendors in case of a nuclear disaster. If India is to be an advanced economy by 2047, it cannot do so without having a reliable and cheap supply of energy. At present, all the electricity that is produced in India, or at least a major part of it, is coming from fossil fuels. Now, the sad part here is that India has very little fossil fuels of its own. So, it is reliant upon other countries to keep a steady supply of fossil fuels going for India to be able to produce its electricity. Now, this situation has already been challenged due to the war in the Middle East, which is going on even as of today. In such a situation, nuclear energy offers a source of energy which is available round the clock. It is very reliable. It definitely helps in India's green targets for achieving reduced pollution levels. It also reduces India's dependence on imported fossil fuels, and the ecosystem in the industry required for the industry will also slowly get developed in India once this SMR scheme and related activities are fully implemented. India wants indigenous reactor supply chains, heavy engineering, high skill manufacturing processes to happen within India as far as production of nuclear energy is concerned. From the standpoint of India's energy independence, having a good nuclear energy supply base in India is very essential. It will complement other green sources of energy like wind and solar. But contrary to wind and solar, nuclear energy is far more reliable and the supply is available round the clock. At present, India has a capacity of 8.78 gigawatts of nuclear electricity installed as of just now. It is expected that within the next 6 months, Government of India would invite bids for private sector participation in installation and operation of at least 5 SMR reactors, that is small modular reactors. By 2033, the government expects a total capacity of 22.38 gigawatts of nuclear electricity in India, which is expected to shoot up to 100 gigawatts by 2047. Now, the major challenges that we are facing in realizing this situation are basically to ensure that enough capital is provided by the government of India to achieve this dream of having 100 gigawatts by 2047, making the situation interesting enough for private sector to put in their efforts and money and to participate in operation of SMRs. Thirdly, the regulatory mechanism established under the Shanti Act 2025 should also work smoothly and should be an enabler and should not result in creation of hurdles for the private sector in operating the nuclear capacity. Last but not the least, it is very important that the execution speed of all this is also very fast and whatever is planned gets achieved within the established time frames. So friends, let's all hope that India is able to benefit from this large expansion of nuclear capacity that the government is planning for. If there's anything further on this topic that comes to my notice, I'll certainly make a new video and get that video to you. Till then, I would like to take your leave. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have found this video interesting, please like this